Welcome to The Buzz at SJMA, our ongoing podcast series featuring artists from our permanent collection. This insider commentary features artists, gallerists, curators, and friends to give you a glimpse into each artist's creative process. You can subscribe at the iTunes Store or YouTube to make sure you always have the latest installments. Edward Burtynsky is best known for his disturbingly sublime environmental photographs that chronicle complex and controversial issues of land use and abuse around the world. Mia Feynman, a curator at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, once called him the Ansel Adams of the ruined landscape. Over the past 25 years, Burtynsky has photographed landscapes transformed by modern industrial activity. Mining, quarrying, and oil refining are all examples of how he portrays the complex relationships between man, nature, and so-called progress. These photographs are of one of California's most active oil fields near the Central Valley town of Belridge. Despite the great wealth the field generates, it is located in one of the poorest counties in the state. For this podcast, Burtynsky generously chatted with us from his studio in Toronto.
My name is Ed Burtynsky. I work in Toronto. I've been here for 35 years. I have a studio here. I started a lab about 20 some odd years ago where I can produce my own work. I guess Ansel Adams approached the landscape with a critical eye, trying to find the moments where the light and the scene would come together. And I guess I do share in that kind of determination to be able to find moments in reality that have the possibility for transcending kind of reality and taking you to another place of wonder. I'm far more interested in a flatter light, a more neutral kind of landscape, but in fact looking for the moments where man's imprint in that landscape becomes a dominant theme within the image. We are very disconnected from the places that provide us with all the materials that create our built environments. And so I thought that photography could be a great tool to bridge those disconnected worlds and bring them back into our consciousness. So I started to photograph mine sites and then quarry sites and tailings and now, my more recent work in China, looking at where all our consumer goods come from. As I began to extend the idea of oil and how it evolved over the past century, I began to look at oil refineries. I always found them fascinating places as well, where this crude oil, this product taken out of the ground, is then separated and cracked and turned into a million things, from plastics to fertilizer to butane and propane and gasoline and lubricants. You can't turn around without seeing this raw material expressing itself somewhere within our built environment. To me, it became kind of an interesting thing to begin to trace that explosion of this product over the past century to the point where it touches every part of our lives. And I began to think of the sources of oil. So I found myself in the Belridge area and the current oil field, which was the first oil field discovered in the United States and is still one of the largest producers of oil.